Okay. You see, for him, this one is auto. So as long as he's seeing
So I'll probably chat about the data. That's a
for
culture.
me, I don't see things like that unless when I click in the ring, let's say okay, let's say this one, then when I
How do I?
only I see this. But then when like this, actually I didn't see. So you see, for him, he auto one. So I was like,
Hai,
is it
apa khabar?
anything to do with
Okay, bahasa Inggris, bahasa Melayu. Boleh campur-campur. Okay.
Not really.
It's okay. Itu sebab saya ada topik macam ini. Sebab
Oh, I switched it. Oh, it went off.
it was just scripting. Sebab tahu kadang-kadang ada orang yang datang sini mungkin dia tahu perkataan WordPress tapi tidak tahu apa-apa lagi kan? Jadi saya rasa ini bagus.
Nothing to do with pixel It's not pixel like.
Memanglah saya orang putih, tapi lama sudah saya tinggal di sini. Saya coba cakap bahasa Melayu, tapi kadang-kadang saya tidak boleh ingat perkataan. Mungkin saya kalau kamu tidak boleh paham, kalau saya cakap bahasa Inggris dan kamu tidak boleh paham, kasih tahu saya dan saya minta tolong dari saya punya kawan. Okay. So we are actually already live streaming. I was hoping somebody could jump on the live stream for the chat and but you could still do it from your phone, but it's hard to chat with because somebody might post something. But okay, I have a URL. If I don't put a URL somewhere, I was going to put the URL out on the WordPress WhatsApp too. Actually, I'm going to do that.
You have access, then post link there also.
I don't think I have access.
You have editor access, man.
Yeah.
Go to the page.
Well, I'm going to post this on the WordPress KK live stream. Okay. Even people who, I don't know how well this is going to work. I did do it before, but only for 5 minutes and only with me goofing around and making funny noises and stuff. Oh, all right.
So this thing's been streaming since just now?
No, I just clicked go live just a minute ago.
Hello.
Yeah, nobody's looking. Does it say how many
Well,
viewers
it's recording, right? So it should be in the live stream as well.
It goes directly to YouTube. It's not saved on my hard drive. And that's good because I think I only have a 250 gig hard drive here.
Where's the
I don't have any access. I don't even.
I'm going to send now.
You don't need admin, you need editor. Right, where's the link?
Where do you send the link?
I'm going to send it to the WordPress KK WhatsApp group first.
Yeah.
youtu.be/. If somebody is watching this, I'm sure it looks ridiculous right now. 8. Okay. Okay, bagus. Ini untuk kamu.
For if you actually want to do your website and
W.
you want to customize or you want to do your own design, WordPress compared to other gives a lot of freedom. Last time we used to just go blogging or whatever, but then now you can do web design, you can do apps with it.
Actually, I've got a question. Would you be interested, or do you think this will affect your industry? If, let's say, Sabanet starts giving out free WordPress accounts like Blogspot and so on, but geared under form.my or Saba. Yeah, let me think. What is it called? Remember last time? For those who are all the oldies from us, did you know last time there were free websites offered by state government that you could set up?
Okay.
What if WordPress what if the offering became WordPress, right? You can only run your blog in this WordPress engine.
I don't think it got affected. I mean, you know,
Because it will still be something, because what will happen is your domain will either be, let's say if it's Law Chow, right? It will become like sabah.net.my/Law Chow or lawchow.sabah.net. Macam GeoCities punya lah. Like it's
I mean, better like your child got Sabah.net, like very lucky best kind of like that.
because I can disclose that there's an internal discussion right now on my side that we're planning to reactivate, but we're trying to figure out what's the best way to reactivate. Some other last time is just bagi FTP boleh upload simple saja site, or whether or not to give a blog engine instead for the one.
As a business person, you know why? You giving
But
people
management is difficult. If there is some requirement from community, right? Like if the WordPress group is interested, let's say even like this group, right? We might be able to involve community, tolong jaga. We can handle infra, the company. But when it comes to actually handling users, right? That's something we don't have resources for. Because the problem is, memang is actually for Sabah and people with PR in Sabah only. So the thing is there's a verification process. That's the manual process. Because last time Sama juga had to fax IC. You have to prove that you are actually based in Sabah. So now what we're considering is either you're Sabahan or you have PR. So in this case, even let's say, but actually means Sabahan also. Yeah. So
Mungkin, no, because dulu saya tengok semua orang yang mau cakap di WordCamp kan, saya nampak orang England, orang Poland, dan saya. Sekarang ada lagi kan, tapi saya ingat di mana orang Sabah di sini? Saya saja.
that's why we are considering this lah. And actually the community is interested. So it requires some investment of time and effort for it lah. But it's just something that we're looking at. So mungkin ada free WordPress boleh cuba dulu.
Okay, it is only a few minutes after 1, and I think I want to give maybe a little more time to see if anyone else is going to come. But I already posted the YouTube live stream there. The
WordPress group, right?
the questions URL is up here.
and invite you too. But then you see what's it? I never having you with him. What's it with him?
I'm in the group of WordPress Kota, is it?
Yeah. So you might as well post in the group also lah. So having a live session something.
You can post it in Town Square and Matamos as well.
I think everyone can. Yeah, Vince already post few already.
There's one looking for.
Yeah.
If somebody does post a question, I'll see it here, and I'll answer them after the presentation. And the URL is still there.
Where do you see it? No, I'm from the what?
That's clear enough. Let me.
Oh, you're from the mid part. Oh, yeah, not in the what?
Okay, I'm visible. The screen is visible. I'm looking at the live stream.
Yeah, it looks like it's readable.
Well, that's working. You're watching it over YouTube, huh?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And it's ada lag sedikit. It's okay. Okay, mungkin 5 minit lagi.
You know, it's
Oh.
Sabah time.
Apa nama kamu?
Ellen.
Alan. All right. This, yeah.
I'm Martha. I'm a back-end guy. I used to do WordPress a long time ago.
What is the programmer?
Guess so.
Yeah.
Margaret, what kind of work do you do? Marketer.
Digital marketing.
Oh, digital.
So you want digital marketing, you will promote it. I'm from digital marketing. Or you are different from. I mean, or you are not doing IT? No. We actually welcome everyone, even the non-IT.
This guy no IT.
Everyone,
I'm
everyone is doing IT. Whether they want to or
Businessman.
not. You're using your hand. That's really part of this is going to touch on that. You don't. I'll get to it. I don't want to jump ahead. Probably, this is probably going to be it. But all right, it's 10 after. Maybe 1:15. We'll really.
Yeah, but Zora is on the way. So I think that someone else also on the way because some of the teachers say they are coming into it. I'm not sure. Maybe they late or
Yep, like it's working fine. It's been there for 10 minutes.
Hi, Cindy. I'm sure I look ridiculous. Welcome, Joseph Sidarso. I'm happy to do the live stream. I'm happy you show up. We're not going to start for a couple more minutes because we're going to see if a few more people show up in person. But as many people as want to sign on online, it's great. I'm happy to be able to do this.
yeah, I think if we like, I mean, not just by means of coming here, but then some of them actually attending the live session. I think it's quite good actually. The same actually, like basically, you know, right nowadays the webinar they call it, right?
Oh yeah, you can hear yourself. I'm gonna do something like
So the microphone is actually quite clear. From here also can hear what I'm saying.
Intel Core 2 Duo.
No, I'm
From-
it's a CPU.
No, I'm just saying this laptop is very old and still working.
Yeah, it's still okay. I mean the microphone. Usually the laptop no microphone, right? It's not. My one is not so good. I had to like sometimes I need to shout. People can hear me. And this one we talk like normal. I can hear everything. So we have to.
The aircon blower stopped working last night, so we came up with workaround to ensure that we have some cool air.
Oh, did you actually bring your laptop? Yeah. Oh yeah. Who knows later there's a technical session. I think the moving part. I think if you are the first time, probably that part will be too technical. But then, who knows?
997-932.
Because you have to start from the having a WordPress first, having the self-hosted WordPress. Last time.
Are we gonna start earning $15,000 a month?
That depends what we do in front of the live stream.
Understand why there's a moving of the WordPress to another host. So because sometimes people want to like let's say last time maybe you host it in the web hosting company based in US or based in whatever time, that actually sometimes quite slow to access because we are in a different location, right? So maybe one day that you will consider you want to, let's say your priority is to serve the Malaysian visitors or Asian visitors like that time. Then probably that time you will consider moving your WordPress to another host. So let's say you want to move to Singapore or you want to move to Malaysia one. I think mostly Singapore lah, right? So which is actually faster. So that part is to teach you how to move your WordPress without having you to redo again from the beginning.
Okay, I think my URL may have changed up here because I had to reset
Some
something.
of them using DigitalOcean, some of us even use the free one, the shared hosting also. Like Server Freight, I'm using Server Freight as solution, and then some of you use Example or whatever. Yeah, so this will then. Yeah.
Your first time here juga kan in this area. So this is the makerspace. Ini bukan just for WordPress. There are many groups here. WordPress is also one of them. Sometimes ada event macam ini, but most of the time they are bukan. You can come here, guna the internet for free. Tidak payah registration. I mean, internet need to register because ada orang curi internet. Di lain office. But I mean, to come to this place, there's no registration. It is disokong by Kementerian Pelajaran dan Inovasi. Sebelum itu, it was previously the ministry. Ini sebelum the election lah, was called Kementerian Pembangunan Sumber dan Kemajuan Teknologi Maklumat (KPTSKTM). Tetap dia orang sokong lah before and after. We are NGO, Kinabalu coders. WordPress KK is a group. We also support semacam gini lah, tech groups. So in case you're interested or you want to talk with cool people like si Lawrence, si Margaret, si Vince, this is the place to come. So, ada mamak lagi di bawah.
Okay. It's 1:15. I think we ought to get started. Now, first of all, obviously this is the topic of the WordPress thing. I'm talking a little bit loud because I'm worried that maybe the microphone on that old laptop that I'm live streaming from doesn't pick up my voice very well. But these slides are available online, and I'll provide the link later through our WhatsApp group, our Facebook group, everywhere that we have access to. So those things at the bottom, if you want to get in touch with me, those are all links that you can click on, just like on any web page. This is a Google Slides document. If you want to ask questions, there is a short URL at the top of this presentation. You can go to that and type in your question. I can see it over here, but I'm not going to look until I'm done with the presentation. I want to move through this pretty quickly. Okay, and the first thing I got for you on the next slide is a video. And I'm pretty sure I already heard it. The audio is coming through this TV pretty well. So let's go. And that doesn't work.
It was just a bit slow.
Okay.
It went back again.
So, we're on.
Dear Lord, to me, a city is a story. It's a story
Volume.
of people who live there, who work there, and who build their communities and neighborhoods. My name is Hodge Fleming. I help small business owners with marketing and growth in my hometown of Detroit and in cities across America and beyond. One day I realized that I was seeing the same problem time after time. These businesses didn't have websites. It turns out about 46% of American small businesses don't have a website. This was bigger than all the things I was doing to help. Think about it. You go to a website and find a new place to grab lunch. You go to a website to look up coffee shops open time. You go to a website to discover a business's story. So I changed my approach. I pitched a foundation. I recruited friends from the web design community. I worked with local governments. I partnered with WordPress.com. And I launched an audacious civic design project and rebrand.city. Our goal is to empower thousands of small businesses to cross the digital divide and come online. Now, thousands of small businesses across America have the opportunity to tell their stories on their own WordPress website. That's you. These sites bring new customers to local businesses, and those businesses power families, neighborhoods, and cities. I'm so proud that we're helping to tell so many new, inspiring, diverse stories. Real stories. The stories of cities and the people who make them what they truly are.
Okay, the potential that Hodge Fleming saw in his city and other cities in the United States exists here in an even greater magnitude. Okay, this is me. Orang selalu tanya saya, berapa lama kamu di sini? Kamu buat kerja apa? Kamu kawan sama orang di sini? Yes. Saya orang Amerika Syarikat, tapi saya pun macam orang Sabah sebab saya tinggal di sini 15 tahun lebih, dan ini macam saya punya kampung kedua. Selalu di KK, saya tak pernah pergi KL, saya tak pernah pergi Semenanjung. Saya boleh cakap bahasa Melayu begini, tapi mungkin tidak perfect. Saya cuba saja. Jadi ramai orang tanya itu, berapa lama di sini? Ramai orang tanya apa jenis kerja saya buat. Jadi ada semua di sana. Kalau kamu mau tahu lagi, tanya saya nanti. Okay? Okay, so we're back to this. What is WordPress? I meet a lot of people who ask me those questions. What do you do? What kind of work do you do? I could answer that question in perfect Malay long before I could say anything else in Malay because so many people asked me that I had to get a lot of practice answering it. I make web pages. I bikin laman web, bikin website. Banyak kali orang tidak boleh paham. So WordPress is one way to do what I do. It's a very good way. It's a good, easy introduction for anybody who would like to get in on web development. Vice since you're the first to set up a laptop, if you wouldn't mind jumping on that YouTube stream, and if anyone asks a question, if you could, I sent it to the WhatsApp group, so you should be able to find the link and just click on it.
Using phone also we can answer if we need.
Yeah, you can.
Oh well, if you're comfortable typing on that, that's great.
This one we have a big screen.
These are all actual pictures of me. Another one. Okay, now WordPress. If you say WordPress, okay, a lot of us here live with an entirely different language. We might call WordPress a CMS, content management system, and we might not explain what that means, but it's just software. It's an application, a program, or an app. If you ever use a computer, you're using software every day. If you're ever using a hand phone, you're using apps every day. It's the same kind of thing, except it runs on the web. Now, I think I forgot to add a slide here that I meant to add. I was going to ask, where does WordPress run? I still want to ask that question, and I'll add the slide later for the next time I give this presentation. What I want to ask, let's go back. What I want to ask is, where do you think WordPress runs? Does it run on Linux? Does it run on Windows? Does it run on Mac OS? Does it run on iOS? Or does it run on Android? Anyone that doesn't already know the answer want to give it a try? I think some people who have experience might still answer that wrong, sort of. Because some of the people who have experience with that, it doesn't run on Windows, it doesn't run on Mac, and it doesn't even run on Linux. It runs on what we call the cloud. The cloud is not as fancy as it sounds. It just means a computer that's on all the time and is always connected to the internet. Sometimes it's a whole bunch of computers working together, but that's all the cloud means. Okay, so you can install this on Windows, Linux, Mac, everywhere, but for it to live up to the full potential of WordPress, it has to run on the cloud, on a web server somewhere, on a computer that's on all the time and always connected to the internet. Yeah. A little bit of a delay with my presentation thing here. There it is. Okay. Now, a lot of people want to know, what's it going to do for you? It lets you share news, views, and ideas, anything you have in mind. If you're good at cooking, if you're good at crafts, if you're a carpenter, if you are represent a tourism company or a hotel, a restaurant, anything, your business, your ideas, your craft, anything that you might want to do, WordPress can help you with that. Share news, views, and ideas, represent your business, your art. What just happened? Is it the screensaver? No. It's the screensaver. You got some bubbles over here. That's my screensaver. I didn't touch it. That's right. I'm not touching it because I'm in the slides with this. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's make sure that's the active window. Where am I? Let's go back. That's not back. Display your pictures. Keep track of events. Okay, your pictures like your family pictures. You don't have to stay on Facebook if you don't want. You can have your own website on WordPress to show all your family pictures and show them only to who you want to. You don't have to trust Facebook. Keep track of events like this event right here. Communicate with friends and family. That's one I'm big on because I'm not originally from here. And I need to communicate with people who are far away. And you can do all of this using WordPress without learning. Now, you might notice that list is a little bit too long for the screen. That's on purpose. It's a real list. some of the folks in this room, we do work that involves learning everything on that list. And you can look at the slide later. It's a real list, and it's quite it would end up down here somewhere. I had to learn all that stuff. But if you use WordPress, you don't have to. Okay. Now, that. There we go. Now, a lot of us are like this guy. I can't afford it. How much is it gonna cost me? Okay, it's completely free. Now, it's a bit of a complicated explanation how it can possibly be completely free, but it really is. It's as the American expression goes, it's free as in beer, or the Malaysian adaptation that I've heard many times, free as in teh tarik. We've used that before. It doesn't cost you any money, and they don't put any restrictions on what you do with it, the same way they might do on a site like Facebook, where a lot of people share their business and their ideas. Now, there's a little caveat here. There's a little warning here. Hosting can cost money sometimes, though. It doesn't always, but when you get to a more advanced level, you're going to want paid hosting. You're going to want the power that paid hosting, but that's farther on down the road. Right now, for a beginner, somebody who's here because they don't know what WordPress is, hosting's free, and we can show you how to get that. We've already shown you. We'll be happy to show you again. Okay, these are links for people who view the slides later. Some places that you can get started with WordPress. And that's the whole presentation, folks. Believe it or not. Obviously, some way to get in touch with me. If you have a QR scanner on your phone, you can load that right now. Probably can even point it at the YouTube screen. That's big enough. And there's also a short link there that will go directly to this slide on Google Slides. Okay. Are there any questions? Ada soalan? Did nobody typed anything into that
There's some
voting tools, but they typed it into the YouTube, right?
YouTube.
Okay. That is the first presentation. I know some folks were worried about this going long because I was going to give 2 presentations. But the first one is that short. It's software. It runs on the cloud.
So do you have any questions? Because
I'm looking at the.
you want to
I know,
come to
weird.
learn what is WordPress, right? I believe you will have any question. Okay. Yeah, just
Hey? Ya, memanglah. Bahasa Melayu pun boleh. Ya. Kalau saya tidak boleh paham, saya punya kawan-kawan di sini. Kadang saya perlu orang, saya patut berdiri. Kadang-kadang saya minta orang cakap perlahan untuk saya. Itu sebab, pertama, saya masih fikir bahasa Inggris. Untuk saya boleh cakap cepat sebab saya tahu sudah apa yang saya mau cakap. Tapi kalau orang cakap sama saya dengar yang dia cakap, saya macam translate di sini. Dan selepas itu, dan pun saya punya pendengaran hilang sedikit. Jadi kadang-kadang saya tidak boleh dengar. Tapi apa kamu mau tanya? Macam mana mula?
Ya.
Oke. Apa jenis kerja kamu buat?
Saya construction actually. Different.
Okay. Are you the boss?
No.
Do you work directly with the boss? Okay. He has customers, right? And he might want some more customers. Okay. If let's say his name is Jimmy. I just made that name up. Let's say his name is Jimmy, and he runs Jimmy's construction service or Jimmy's contractors. We fix houses, we tukang pipe, we apa kan? Kalau ada rumah, kalau ada rumah, kami boleh baiki, kami boleh kasih besar lagi. Okay, dia mau kasih tahu orang tuh sekarang mungkin dia punya business, dia cakap sama orang, word of mouth advertising. Itu biasa di sini kan. Tapi kalau dia ada laman web, dia boleh bagi orang begini, boleh type dalam handphone saja, atau ini pun kalau ada app yang boleh baca itu, ini pun boleh bagi itu. Boleh ada gambar untuk syarikat dia, mungkin dia punya gambar, mungkin kamu punya gambar, mungkin ada logo, mungkin ada bangunan yang dia sudah buat. Dia boleh buat semua itu dalam laman web WordPress. Dan dia mesti bagi itu saja. I think this up. This is just a link to us. You can type that into your phone, into your web browser. You can also.
That's why
I'm going to demonstrate.
This is free to
All free, percuma, betul percuma. Bebaskan dan percuma. Bahasa Inggris tidak ada perkataan tu bebaskan, sebab kami ada free saja. Free maksud tak payah bayar. Free pun maksud tidak hal, tidak macam mana cakap tu bahasa Melayu. Tidak hal kan?
Free lah.
Bebaskan.
hanya di WordPress lah boleh.
WordPress is free. Hosting is free. Nanti mungkin kamu mau tukar kamu punya hosting nanti macam 6 bulan nanti. Begitulah sebab kamu boleh mula percuma. Saya mau kasih tengok. Saya guna app ini. This is Trend Micro. Is it? I'm not even holding it in the right place. This is Trend Micro. It's the only one that was free without ads. I'm going to show this to you directly in a minute, but I want the people. This is Trend Micro QR scanner. It was the only one I could find on the Play Store that was totally free with no ads. Okay. Trend Micro. Now, if I hold that up to the screen, where is it? Oh, watch. Why is it safe? There we go. There's my screensaver again. Opening in Google Drive. I'm going to do sideways. Okay. Now, ini untuk saya punya slide di sana, tapi ini pun boleh buat untuk kamu punya syarikat, your company's laman web. My Malay is not that good. People are always impressed, but it always breaks down. So really, that's the whole thing. Now we can. Kamu mau belajar lagi? Okay, so lepas ini, pertama mungkin kami patut tambah kamu punya nomor di WhatsApp, WordPress, KK WhatsApp, atau Facebook pun ada, atau meetup.com pun ada, apa-apa kamu selesa. Whatever you're comfortable with, we can add you there. You can ask whatever questions. We can help you get started. We can help you set this up for the first time, and then you will be the expert. You can show your boss. You just take a picture of whatever the best thing you built is, and then you put that on the website. Maybe you talk about it. Maybe you put in Malay and then in English and then in Chinese. Do you have a Chinese guy that works at your company that can translate it, and then you can have all three, right?
Without any programming skill.
No programming at all. There are some things to learn. Mesti belajar sedikit, tapi tidak banyak. Tidak macam saya belajar dulu. Saya masih belajar. Let's take a look at that. Where's my mouse? So there we go. Finally. This was a joke, but these are real.
Only
HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, PHP, Laravel, Ajax, MySQL, Ruby on Rails, Java, Python, Django, React, Node.js, Angular, Vue, responsive web design, graceful degradation, progressive enhancement, search engine optimization, user interface, user experience, and many more. The ones that are laughing the hardest are the ones that have already had to learn some of these, right? I've had to learn most of those, not all of them.
I did learn HTML, CSS.
HTML and CSS.
Yeah.
Next is JavaScript. Now, I like that. I like doing that. That's harder though.
This one.
This.
This.
I like it. I like that part. That's for me. That's for, somebody who likes that. And obviously, I don't have any problem with that. But this, you don't need to do any of that. If you own a company or work at a company and you want to represent that company online, you want people to be able to find Jimmy's Construction, KK, on a web page somewhere, you can do all of that with WordPress. Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. Anyway. So after this, I think we probably need to do we've done twice already. We've done sort of instruction sessions. How do you start with nothing and end up with a website? We've done that a couple of times. People walked in, they didn't know anything. But it took 3 hours for a presentation that could have taken 10 minutes. But it took 3 hours because we showed, here's how you start with you don't know anything. You go on your computer, you sign up with one host that we've used a lot is 000 web host. You don't have to remember that, and I'll send you the link along with half a dozen others because I've been doing research on all free. Now some of them, there are a lot. There's more than half a dozen. There's more than 100. Ada lagi daripada 100, tapi ada banyak yang mau tambah di orang punya iklan. Kamu tidak mau begitu. Atau di orang mau curi kamu punya informasi. Tidak mau begitu. 000 web host is a good one. There's a few other good ones. Actually, well, that's a story for another time. But the reason I investigated others is because we were only using 000 web host, and I couldn't believe they were the only good one. So I just started reading blogs and trying them out. I've created, just this past couple of weeks, I've created 20 WordPress sites on 20 different hosts. 000 web host is still really one of the best.
I've been using it for more than 10 years, and they're actually the only, I think they're the only one who gave like that much space with PHP and all the supports without any banners.
Well, the
without
reason
displaying the banners, and the outcome is quite good.
I probably started using it the same time you started, but I stopped. and I figured, well, something there must be others.
I stopped, but it kept like reminding me that like you have this account with us, like, and then I came back to it because they kept sending me emails.
Well, I was sick for a while, so I wasn't doing much of anything during that time when I wasn't using free hosting. And then I also had my own host. I mean, I paid for hosting, so I didn't have much of a need for that. But I figured after all this time, there must be something better by now. I used that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But really, that's
yeah. They're still the
okay.
best.
What we have now, I figured we'd have a good half hour between sessions, and we've got more time than I expected to have here. The next session is going to be quite a bit more complex, and it's going to involve a lot of me actually demonstrating how to do stuff up there for everyone to look at. So right now it's time to go get a drink of water, or raid smart space for all their kuropo, he's getting water, but
Well,
where's
it's
the books? Oh. Water! I brought my own water.
I have to go buy water.
No, we're not.
Then
Is there a water fountain here with a filter on it or
Oh,
something?
yeah, but it's a big water.
I don't think I should pause the live stream. People will come later. Yeah,
Water.
most people do not, there you go. Most people don't have a QR scanner on their phone. I think it should come by default, and I also think I should put that slide deck on. There we go. I think our phones should come with a QR scanner built in, but it doesn't.
like Xiaomi does.
Really?
Yeah, the camera.
Is it
Just open up the camera, and then
that's great. That's the way it should be.
yeah, it scans the QR of the
Does do the Xiaomi phones have the Google Play Store by default?
the Vivo one.
Well, what I mean is, I had heard that some of the Chinese brands from China don't comply with Google's rules, so they don't have the Google Play Store, but you can
They do
load it afterward.
the
Oh, they
Google-
do?
Yeah.
Only in China. Xiaomi external purchase phones out of China have Play Store, but the ones inside China, yeah, they don't have Play Store.
Oh, so that's only in China, okay. So I'm gonna start back up at around 2.
Oh,
You guys started it at 1 because you thought I was gonna go really long, right?
yeah.
Well,
We
yeah,
thought like we're going to be like pushing it until like 6 because
Yeah.
there's 2 sessions.
I for a while, this mostly happened when I was in New Zealand. I attended a meetup group, a web development meetup group, where they would have like 10 presenters at a time, but they would limit everyone's presentation. You had to be under 20 minutes.
Okay.
They actually had special software. They had a timer. There would be a red line at the bottom of the screen, and when it was 10 minutes, it would be here,
Oh, cool.
right? And it worked really well.
Maybe we should use that for the webcam.
yeah, maybe. But then, what is the?
Currently, we have 9 speakers.
No, I mean, yeah. How long is it actually for the
Is
presentation? I
the
mean, for
full-
each speaker.
the full session, we just gave them 40. In
40.
case they need more, we tell them to tell us, but nobody said that they need more. Just 40 minutes. So you will
Do you know what that is?
need more.
I
No,
I'm going
right.
to make it
Yes.
possible.
You know what
Going
it is?
to be
Because
long.
you're going to teach people how
Who is it?
to begin
Yeah.
class. So it's going to be a
Dragon
hands-on
Ball.
session.
I'm not sure how many
then,
people are fans. Kamu tahu ini kan?
At the event, right? You can't actually
Yeah.
wait for people.
Memanglah lelaki kau.
Have to proceed in a
Tapi
normal speed lah.
Since we're going to
I wasn't sure how many Dragon Ball fans there were.
come back and watch
Yes,
the entire thing again.
Which is like what
Yeah.
Vince done now.
Because the event is going to be recorded. Yeah.
And that
So all
was,
the hands-on section, if they got left behind during the event,
maybe I
they
should
can just like,
maybe not.
yeah, they can just go back and, I mean, for Chow, because his session is going to be a hands-on one during webcam.
It depends on the
Do you
presentation.
know about webcam?
No.
Okay, we are having a conference.
A big-
We
a
are
big-
having a big conference
Yeah, big
on
conference.
WordPress next month. It's in 2 weeks.
Wait, here is that right?
No, we're going to do it at Grand Borneo. Yeah. So we have the website. We have the
2019.
yeah.
If, you know what? If I
Yeah.
type
And the
2019,
ticket is very cheap because most of the cost of event is like
Subsidized.
sponsored. Yeah, sponsored by a lot of people. So the ticket is only 20 minutes. But during the event, you get to learn a lot of stuff about WordPress. And if you want to begin using WordPress and build a website, Chow is going to do a hands-on session right at the beginning. Yeah, they just bring a laptop because a lot of people are going to be first timers during the event as well. So a lot of students are coming.
Oh, okay, now look, thank you. So, wow, Lawrence picture in front of the Twin Towers.
You know, that's the embarrassing one.
This is
I
the
don't
website
have the good
where you
one
can
in
register. But I'm going to
So, Mana, you have some
we're
Sabah?
going to add you on the WhatsApp, so we will be sharing about the website.
Right, the first time I went to this site when there were already speakers, this is what I saw. Me, orang Britain, orang England,
Orang putih everything.
Orang
but
Poland. Saya saja orang Sabah di sini.
Really?
Well, no, I mean-
man.
no. That is the round 2 and then the round.
I'm orang
No.
Sabah. Ini
Yeah.
orang KL kah?
Yeah, ini orang KL nih.
Ini orang KL. This one is orang
And I heard
KL.
there was an Indonesian. Is there an Indonesian guy?
No.
Oh, I thought I must have
But
misunderstood.
Niels Lange, he's the one. I think he's from Poland, but I haven't announced him yet.
He's from Poland originally, but he
He's
spends a
Poland.
lot of time in Indonesia.
But Niels, I think he's from Poland. There's another one. I haven't announced him yet. He's an automatic engineer, happiness engineer, and automatic. But
Happiness engineer.
I don't know what is.
That is
What that
actually
is.
very impressive. Oh.
It's a happiness engineer.
I want to ask how to be happy from him.
I don't know, do you really
Automatic
want
is
an
actually
engineer?
the company that built WordPress. So they are the ones who actually are helping us with the conference. So it's going to be an international conference. So if you can attend, we advise you to come. Yeah, it's going to be very good. Yeah, if you plan to be working with WordPress.
And then if they want to come, they have to go to the website to purchase the ticket, right?
Yes,
20 ringgit.
will
It's
be
not
free.
mahal, tapi, 20 ringgit. I mean, I spend more at KFC.
Yeah.
It
So,
is.
I mean, basically, 20 ringgit. That conference have news, have foods.
Yeah, it's not. If you've been to a conference in a hotel, so I don't.
Yeah.
The same.
So I think
Ada
basically
makan
the
and
20 ringgit
everything.
is food cost of the ticket.
I see my name. I wonder how long ago that.
March 9. Oh, next month. March 9.
Bulan depan.
Oh.
Bulan lagi bulan.
Are you on there? Can you type? I'm not so. Joseph Sudarso asked about the scanner.
Okay.
The scanner. I don't know if they're still watching, but the scanner. I mean, the QR code and the link both go to exactly the same place. But the QR code is easier if you already have a QR scanner in your phone.
But I'm not sure why I don't.
Ini maksud mau tambah nunggu
When
dulu
he
baru
asked.
add. Itu masalah.
He says,
Is it on YouTube?
he says,
I still don't know how to add people.
I saw Lawrence share a barcode scanner app. I just,
Without saving his number first.
Just give him like an invite link.
So how do I send him that link if I don't have his
I
number?
gave
Yeah.
you the invite link before.
Macam I
But-
remember it's a short link kan something.
it's a long link and then
I'll
you use
I'll
Bitly.
put it in the group so you
The
can.
info there kan, so you can copy paste. But then how do I send to him? By means of SMS gitu. Yeah. Oh my
You still have to know
Oh,
the
yeah,
I have to
number.
get his number also.
Yeah.
Get my contact something. But at least I can SMS him, so you give me the link.
I'm not an admin in the group. So
Why you are not admin?
Yes,
What,
I can
how do I-
generate the link.
How how come you are not admin? How do I add you?
WordPress.
Make group
Sorry,
admin, okay.
WhatsApp is not.
Okay,
you
now I
admin,
can
no,
do-
this is
Susah kan?
admin.
Tapi semua
You
orang
want to be
punya-
admin? I can add you as.
Can you have more than one?
Yes, you can have
Okay.
all of them as admin.
Because what I'll do on my next time I create
Oh,
slides,
Okay,
is there will be,
Should have told me.
more
I
links.
don't know that I have add any admin.
because that link really should be up here.
Where's the link?
I already sent it to the group.
Okay, so
Just like
copy.
copy and send it
Message.
to everyone.
Your number is 111.
This is very intensive.
May or may not
Kita
work.
You
Peking.
know, at home
You
actually
see the
asked me
shirt,
this.
right?
Huh?
Kita Peking. That's their specialty.
Yeah. And Tom actually asked, tidak sejuk deh, tidak panas kah? So I'm going to take a photo of this.
That's
And
supposed to
send
be,
to him.
that's supposed to be secret behind the scenes. Everything is perfect with Amanda
This is not behind the scenes.
What? The camera is pointing at TV.
You mean that when Mampu was here?
No.
Okay.
Mampu, when they came yesterday, was still working. It's not working last night.
The group on Facebook, the Facebook page.
Because they are very like
The Facebook page.
they're crazy about organization and everything. So I wonder what would they think if they see this.
Who do you want to send? I mean, who do you want to send this photo?
I'm going to send it to Enam
How?
because he asked like, panas kah?
Don't put at WordPress lah. You know that our group got the KL people and then Sam Suresh all are inside
So
the
they
group.
wouldn't know what we're
Then
talking
they saw,
about.
gitu
And they
dah
won't know what we're
WordPress
talking
in
about.
No, it shows the dedication.
Yeah.
I've already heard that sometimes the people from KL have some ideas about people from Sabah, and maybe are not so.
Yeah.
What's the word? Flattering. Maybe their ideas about people from Sabah are not so flattering, are not so nice.
Like they thought we still doing free. Like you know, some parents, because we're working in US, right? Some parents actually called us and asked if should we do like a pail? Should we send with a pail?
Because there's no bathroom.
Yes, because they thought like, yeah, and then they asked like,
I don't know.
what is the currency used here?
Really?
Yes, yeah.
About
This
the-
happened seriously. We're
About
like,
the tail thing, and we're still live streaming, right? So I want to say this live. About the tail thing, that's UMS. Last time, Vilasa Matriculasi Sana, we didn't even have a bathroom, so we would actually have to take bath outside by the tap, Sana in the
but the thing is, we do have shops that sell pails here.
Oh, check. You're talking about the tail one. But I mean, if they think like it's a different perception. But I mean, last time when we matriculation, we us males we had to take a bath next to the tap outside, and this was right next to the classes. So when the bus of all the students, the female students, and another one had to come, everybody had to scramble to one side of the building. But we were taking bath outside.
This one is the KIK campus, right?
Yeah, I don't care. Okay, Unitech, Unitech in Alam.
Was it? Okay.
That's why we were sent to KL, because eventually it was just not workable. Oops,
Yeah, I got one of those mechanical keyboards that have the RGB lighting, and have a dark room, and I set up this screensaver, and I set up the animation on the keyboard, and I turn off the lights, and I just love that the whole effect, and it's every color, right? And I have the keyboard set up to do every color. I mean, it's silly, but it looks really cool in the room where I do my work, and I got the dual monitor set up, and
It's so geeky.
The older ones, no, us
he
oldies,
gets it.
we shouldn't get
I bet.
bubbles. We should have flying posters.
No, hey, I had that screensaver every
After dark,
single
after
after dark. I had that. I lived in Korea with the army when I had that.
I miss the flying posters.
I left it on all the time, and it was apparently flashing, and I could sleep through anything then, but it was bothering my roommate. I woke up one day and my monitor was off. I was like, what happened? He said it was keeping him awake, because I always had a roommate when I was in the army, because it wasn't just the flying toasters, it was I had it on rotation, every possible screensaver, and I had them all
There were some nice ones. I remember there was a second generation of After Dark, the one with the bad dog who used to rip up your desktop. The bad dog will come, he will start like digging up your screen and leave pieces of dirt, paw prints, and so on. That was the next generation of After Dark.
I don't remember that.
Bad dog! And then it stops off to one side of the screen.
It's funny that that died off. That was a Windows screensaver.
Well, the
program.
screensavers died off because LCD TFT screens
Well,
actually.
Yeah, but you never, I mean, yes, you don't actually need a screensaver, but you haven't needed a screensaver for 20 years. It was always a toy, and it was fun. And what's the the one on Linux is better, but it hasn't had any updates in 20 years either.
Yeah, the lowest
X,
X saver or something.
X screensaver, that's all it is. And anyone could build add-ons for it because open source, you know? I just want to keep my eye on it. We got 4 more minutes, and then I'll start up. The next one will take longer. I'm gonna show the slides, but most of it for the next one is gonna be me actually doing it, and the slides are for people to refer to later, because the slides are sort of set up like a tutorial. Actually, in order to get to that,
And
I
now
get myself a
they
chair.
only fix the icons on Monday, I think. But okay, it's not hot in here.
So, what did he say?
The fan's not, memang the fan's not working. Although this is not as effective as I thought it was, but I suppose it's helping with the air circulation, which is why the room isn't hot. Yeah, the room doesn't feel stuffy either, which is good. Actually, I don't really care kalau panas atau sejuk, tapi sama ada stuffy or not.
Yes, I do.
I was in Carmen saying, I saw this. Do you know how much these fans cost? 30 ringgit. Yeah, 30
Is
ringgit.
it DIY?
No, Super Safe. I went to Super Safe. Wih, murah ni. Yeah, beli. The only problem is the plug is China plug, so 2 prongs. So you cannot.
Oh,
you
okay.
adapt
That's
them.
American plug.
Yeah.
I mean-
It's also an American style plug, but never this is built China market. No.
I hope to see Rachel coming. They have said coming. Rachel said come before it.
Yeah, if she's not jet lagged.
Yeah, lah.
Because she's flying into
Why does everybody say kalau dia balik? Kalau balik. Oh, kalau balik.
Yeah, balik already.
Yeah, kalau balik.
She was in KL yesterday for a few days.
Oh wait, you're not talking about webcam.
No,
You're
no,
talking
no,
about
no, no. Our
Hi.
honor guest.
Hi.
Hello.
Step right in. Step right in.
Hey, why Malu?
Hey, we have to take the.
Grab a seat. Grab a
Yeah,
seat.
yeah,
You don't
grab
have
a
to.
seat.
You don't have to just
You have
sit
to
at
grab
this table.
seats.
There are tables there too.
Yeah. So easier to see.
No, because we just.
We're
We are actually
live
shy.
streaming. Yeah.
Shy people always sit at the back.
Oh God, we can hear ourselves. Like
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
So that's why.
if we are membawang here, people can like
Hear us.
really hear us, and then it will be recorded and it will be on this channel.
I asked somebody already in Facebook Live, but then the guy didn't answer me. What is Membawang?
Membawang is like mengumpat lah.
It's like mischievous.
No, it's mengumpat. You know?
Onion. But actually, that's the problem. To me, membawang comes from the onion bar. So membawang to me is
Onion.
too fake news.
Really?
Me lah, my interpretation.
The onion news, right?
Yeah, onion news. That's why to membawang is to fake news.
Really?
No, it's not. But in the Malaysian term, it actually means what?
Nah, you see, you can't even describe. This one,
It's a gossiping. Yeah, gossiping.
okay.
Yeah.
That's gossiping lah.
I should be
Yeah.
listening to
It's
this.
not really
No.
gossiping. It's gossiping in
I
a
had no
very
idea.
malicious way. Like, yeah.
Yes,
Like-
it's a name.
It's some sort of like a bad mouth.
Yeah, bad mouthing. Bad mouthing and gossiping.
So
at the
like
same
I
time.
talk bad about you, then that means I'm membawang you lah.
Yes. Yeah.
But it doesn't really mean that mouthing either. It sort of means more like tamberang and
Is it?
there you go. Now,
You see, that's why I having hard time to understand this one. There's so many.
it's a double term. Basically, you are lying and you are gossiping at the same time. In a sense.
Macam mana orang putih boleh belajar bahasa ini? Wait, mum makes it a verb, right?
Yeah. It's like the act of continuing the lie.
There's no way to translate that.
No. I know, but in English, it's the act of continuing the lie.
Okay.
When you continue the lie, that's basically the act of number one. Like for example, if I go along with it, right? Like if I start a rumor, and my friend goes along with it, and then it continues and continues, and then so you basically create this false fantasy of like this false reality. That's basically the act of number one.
Wow.
That's
It also does, yeah.
You don't
Arthur had a good point because the Onion website is really that's what they're doing.
That's really what
Without knowing that it's Malay at all. That's what they're doing.
Kasi tamberang lah, exactly.
Okay. We're gonna the wrong way. We're gonna I have to go to the other side. We're gonna start off very soon with the second presentation, which will be mostly me doing it on screen. And then these slides will be available for later for anyone who wants to.
We do not touch anything.
I'm live streaming, by the way.
You're talking
From here.
Don't membawang.
Wait, did you type it into Google Translate?
No, I mean Joseph. He's actually here. So
Yeah.
in the comment he said, don't membawang.
Okay. I think we ought to get started. Okay, like I already said, we're live streaming this. This is going to be a much more interactive section if you want to do it, but I'm going to demonstrate. This is going to be targeted at people who already have started WordPress. Who already have started using WordPress and they already have a site, but maybe they want to move it already. It's very easy to get started on WordPress.com, but that's really not the best place to host your site for the long term. Not even, say, for the first 6 months. And I can get into that later, sort of after the presentation. I've had some interesting experiences with WordPress.com over the past few days. Some of you, if you've been monitoring the chat on Slack, might be aware of some of those. But for right now, this is also for the people watching the live stream. There's a brand new short link up here if you want to ask questions, and I'll get to see them on my screen over here.
But I don't
You can
think
also-
they can. I don't think the people watching the live stream can. It's quite small.
Is it too small?
Yes.
You know what? It's also backwards. At least if the video is showing up like this, it is here.
Yeah, because it's
Is it
mirrored-
backwards?
You haven't
About
mirrored the
mirroring.
image. You have to mirror the image before it comes normally.
Yeah, I thought the software did that automatically.
Not
But-
necessarily, no.
Yeah. Okay, that's something to learn for the future. If it shows like that, then it's been backwards the whole time. Terbalik ka. Kamu tengok sekarang kan?
It is not backward.
No, it's fine.
It's
But
fine.
tidak boleh baca itu.
But it's too small. You just
Terlalu
can't
kecil,
read
kan?
because it's not HD as well.
Oh, okay. So
I'm using a very old laptop with its webcam. It's built-in webcam. I'll get better. I already looked at prices for an actual. That's mine actually, but I don't know if that's any better. That's the cheapest one you can buy. I was thinking about using that, but it's probably the same as the one that's built into this. When this was new, it was a very nice laptop, but that was many years ago. Okay. Now, this presentation is about moving your WordPress site. Now, it says from WordPress.com to another host. However, everything I cover here, although it might look a little different, it will, I can hear myself, it's throwing me off. Even though it might look a little different, everything here can be used on any WordPress install to move to any other WordPress install, pretty much. There are some differences, but pretty much what you see here, you'll be able to use on any WordPress. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through these slides, but for the most part, all right, you're going to want to see this. All right, for anyone who just joined, I also did this in the last presentation. This is me. Saya memang orang Amerika Syarikat, tapi lama sudah saya tinggal di sini. Setiap kali saya keluar saya punya rumah, orang tanya saya, berapa lama kamu di sini? Asal mana? Oke, lama sudah saya tinggal di sini. Saya orang Amerika Syarikat, tapi saya pun macam orang Sabah sedikit. Saya selalu cakap ini saya punya kampung kedua. Okay, saya cakap bahasa Melayu sekarang sebab saya mau orang tahu saya boleh cakap dan saya mau orang macam selesa sama saya. Oke, ini saya punya kerja. Lama sudah saya buat kerja begini. Ada banyak. There's a lot more detail than what I put there. Okay, what's the difference? There's a lot here, right? A lot of words. Okay. A lot of times what you will see if you do a web search is WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. Mm-hmm. That's how they say it. That's how they word it, but I don't think that's the right comparison. You don't host your site at WordPress.org. That's not what you do. You get the information and the software from WordPress.org. What you do is called self-hosting. Okay, that's the opposite of WordPress.com. WordPress.com is just a hosting from the same company who made the software. So website hosting service like HostGator, Bluehost, GoDaddy, or Exabytes. I picked those because those are popular names. There's hundreds and hundreds of hosts. Exabytes is Malaysian, and a lot of people like to stay in Malaysia. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but we can talk about things like content delivery networks at another time. WordPress.com is only designed to host sites using the WordPress content management system. Content management system is it needs a whole explanation of itself, but that's what WordPress is, really. That's the real term. WordPress is owned and managed by Automatic, the same people who created WordPress. Now, this slide theme has red links. These slides are going to be available. I'm going to provide a link and a QR code at the end of the presentation so that anyone who wants to look stuff up, click on any links that I provide. We can do that easily after the presentation. Now, other hosts, there are many web hosts all competing on price, services, and stability. That's good for us. That's why we can get free hosting even when it's not from WordPress. Most hosts will allow you to host almost any kind of site, and that's what's different from WordPress.com. You can only host WordPress at WordPress.com. You're usually responsible for your own software updates and security patches. That's the hard part, because WordPress keeps their software updated for your site, but other hosts usually do not. And this last one, there are a lot of bad hosts too, and that caveat emptor is Latin for watch out because they're gonna lie to you. Ada ramai orang yang mau tipu kamu. Okay. Well, I'll use another host. What was the last one? What's the difference? I'm not going to go through this bullet by bullet. There's a lot here. If you host on WordPress.com, they own your site, but they do make a lot of things easier for you. They can delete your site. I think that's the last bullet. They can delete your site because of a violation of some very complex and hard to understand terms of service, and they can make a mistake in determining that you violated those terms of service. In other words, you can have a perfectly okay site and they can take it away from you. I would not recommend hosting a WordPress site for a company on WordPress.com for that reason alone, because a misunderstanding, an automated misunderstanding, can cause your site to disappear. You can't make money off your WordPress site easily. You can if you pay for the business plans, but then even at the highest level, you have to go through WordPress.com in order to get your revenue. But you can do e-commerce, but that's really a different kind of business. That is selling products or services. I'm reading through these, trying to not take so much time going through bullet point by bullet point. This will be better for reference later. Okay, with another hosting provider, even the free ones, it's pretty much your site.
Daddy?
You're responsible for making sure it stays working, but you also have full control over it, even with most of the free hosting ones. There are some free hosting ones where, you know, they don't make that so easy for you, but that's the big difference between a WordPress.com site and a site that isn't hosted on WordPress.com. Me? I can't see my mouse. Did it go? It did not. Okay, WordPress.com can be very easy to set up. WordPress will work very well on WordPress.com. It's their business, it's what they do. And their servers are stable, reliable, and fast with very little downtime. For small businesses, the downtime is fantastic. Large businesses that worry about things like 11.9s, which is another conversation entirely, maybe WordPress.com isn't right for them either. Other hosts, you really have to shop around. You have to check all of the offerings and the reputations and even their hardware, whether it's, there's, I don't want to get into the detail of that. There's the 11.9, look at that. I forgot that I actually put that in there. But you can get the best service or the worst service from other hosts. Okay. I'm not going to go through the installation of WordPress. I think that's something we've gone through before, and probably we should go through again, maybe as a video tutorial, maybe not even as part of a WordPress KK meetup, but as a tutorial that we provide, that we release maybe on YouTube or Facebook or something like that, so that people who haven't seen it can have a little bit of an easier time going through it. So install WordPress at your new host the same way that you have before. Could be this easy. I forgot that. That's kind of neat. That is a screenshot taken from 000 web host, our current favorite, by the way. Now, here is where I'm going to stop reading from slides and start actually showing what to do. Go to WordPress.com. It looks like I might actually already be logged in. Now what you want to do is, now this is all covered in the slides. I'm just not going to go slide by slide. I'm going to actually show you. What you want to do is go to Settings.
It's not true.
Export.
It's not true.
Right there. What is that? The cookie warning? Yep. And export all. It's going to take It's going to take a short amount of time for me right now because it's a demo site with very little content. It'll take a lot longer for a real site that has been up for a while. And see what it did here was it generated a file that has all of the content for your WordPress site. Doesn't matter where you save it. Just as long as you remember where it is. It automatically generates a unique file name here. And that file name has a zip extension. This is not part of WordPress. You need to know how to open zip files. Hey, did it open? Yeah, it opened over here. Sorry about that. Can't see that if it's on the other screen. And I'm going to extract it into the same folder where I... Now let's open a folder. Let's open that folder. I know where I saved all my files, but anyone who's looking at this might be a little confused by my in here. And you can see there's a date in there. 2019-0223 at 15:04. It's 04, right? No. Wait. Oh, 6. What? 2:15. What's the 6:15:04?
That's the time.
At the time, I think it's 6 a.m. just now.
Oh, you know what? It's not our time zone. That's what it is. All right. That's the file that was generated. See that XML extension? That is misleading. I'll show you why. Now, the next thing you want to do is go to the WordPress site at the new host that you've already set up. And I already opened that. Now look at this. I just set up a brand new WordPress site, but I didn't want to take the time during the presentation. But here I used the UIET host. I wanted to use something different just to show you. Actually, I wanted to use something different so I could show you a problem you might run into that I'm pretty sure you don't run into at 000 web host, because you will run into problems. So here's the WordPress. Now, setting up this WordPress is something you will have to have done already at the new host. And I didn't cover that during this presentation because that's for another time. Now here we have an empty WordPress site with only hello world. Okay, it's a brand new WordPress site. Just like we did export at WordPress.com. Here we have to do import. It's in a different place. It's under tools. We can click on tools and get it from here, import, or we could have also gone from the drop down before, import. Down here is a WordPress importer. This is from the people that make WordPress, but it's not installed by default. By the way, if you're importing data from other types of blogs, you can do that here as well. It's very quick to install. And it says importer installed successfully. Run importer is the next thing you click on. Now, remember that XML file I just showed you? You gotta find it. This is the one. Now, there's something a little bit misleading here. There's two things to worry about. One, it mentions a WXR file. Now, if you're like me, you think you're looking for a file that has the extension WXR. You're not. You're looking for an XML file. And that's this XML file that was generated. What is that, Jeff? The other thing to worry about is this 10 meg limit. The instructions that I'm covering right now are suitable for a site that is under that 10 meg limit, and it's not always 10 meg. I've seen it smaller. I've seen it 8 meg recently, And I think I've seen it smaller than that. It's a configuration setting that most of the time you don't have control over. Down to as low as 2?
Yes,
Okay.
UMS is
Okay, that's very interesting. But on this server, it's 10 meg, and actually 000 web host is only 8 meg. And our file is nowhere near that size. It's only 45K. But on a real site, it's likely that that would be a problem. So the file is selected, and we do upload file and import. To move a WordPress site that is larger than that limit that we just saw is a lot more complicated. That's where a previous version of the explanation of this presentation explained things like FTP or SFTP and server logins. That's something we definitely should get into at another time, but it's a much more complicated topic. Okay, it's already done the import, and it found this username as the author of those posts. That's the username that I entered when I created that demo site at the other place. But here, I named my user Vince, and I'm selecting that. It could also create a new user if you wanted to. You could also, if you wanted to, recreate the WPKK3 or whatever user had existed before. But I'm using this. Now, this checkbox here is important. Download and import file attachments. Basically, it's talking about pictures. If you create blog entries or other types of WordPress pages with embedded images or other embedded content, this will retrieve them from your existing site. If they're not in the XML file, it will retrieve them from your existing site, download them, and put them at the new site. And I'll help you understand that later if anyone has any questions about that. Except, do you see all those failed messages? They don't work at this host. They often do at 000 web host, 000 web host, our favorite. That's part of the reason why I chose a different host, because I wanted you to see the kinds of problems you could have. This could mean a lot of work if you have a big site with a lot of images. And incidentally, this one here is one I created. Most of these top 1, 2, 3, 4 basically just came with WordPress, so they don't matter. This one here, the last one, was part of my blog post. And although when I look at it, my blog post will be there, that image will not. Now, for a short list like this, I'll show you what the solution is. Let's take a look at the posts I've imported. Now, I showed you when we started that the only post in there was Hello World. Now I have all these. Incidentally, I got all these from public domain sources that I copied and pasted from around the web. What you're going to want to do is remove the Hello World. It's going to be the most, if you just set up your blog 22 minutes ago, your WordPress site 22 minutes ago, like I did, it's going to be the first one if your last post on the site you're moving is longer, happened a longer time ago than that. So you're most likely going to want to remove that Hello World, which I'm doing now. Now, let's visit the site. I better not try to do this in the left hand. Look at that. Actually, it did work. That shouldn't work. But you know what? It's pointing at the old site. So if this is a little bit more technical than I intended. That image does not exist. That image was not moved along with the site. That image is still at WordPress.com. I wonder if I can. Look at that. It worked. So if you look here, it's not perfect. But that image you can see is at, I can't put the mouse there, is at wpkk3.files.wordpress.com. The image is still at wordpress.com. It was not moved with the rest of the data. They didn't even change the URL. So that's something that you have to go into each and every blog entry, each and every post to fix if you have a small data set like this. If you have a larger data set, like an actual active site that has been going for a long time, it's a more complicated process, but there are definitely tools that will help you do it. Now, if we go back to the dashboard, by the way, that's Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Posts, The Raven. This isn't helping. It's not, there's no easy way. You got to remove it and re-edit. Now I planned that, so I know where that, I have a pretty good idea where that image is. Here's another problem that we probably would not see with 000 web host. That image size was just fine on WordPress.com. It's not okay here. Now I know how to fix that too, but that's beyond the scope of this. That's not a WordPress issue. But basically, what you have to do is check to make sure all of your images and other content were transferred from the WordPress.com site or whatever site it's coming from to the new site. And that might be why it doesn't work on this host, by the way. And you also have to fix each and every post. Otherwise, when you shut down your old site, those images will go away if they don't go away before that. So we're going to skip that. I heard something pop.
Timmy.
Everyone, this is my assistant presenter. His name is Timmy. That's really the whole process. But there were a lot of opportunities to go into other topics. Like, what if your site is bigger than that limitation? 2 meg in some places. 6 meg at our favorite 000 post. 10 meg here, but there was a limitation on the size of the images. So these are the kinds of things that you really need to address on a case-by-case basis. Now let's go back to the slides. All right. Export was very easy. You just click on a button, and then you click on the download link. Import was pretty easy, but that's misleading because there were some error messages. And you might not necessarily, they're not bright red or anything like that. You might not necessarily notice those error messages. You have to pay attention to those. This takes some work right here. Basically, you have to repeat the work that you did to make your old WordPress site look like it looked. I'm talking about the themes and the configuration of options like the menu. All the WordPress export does is copy the content of the site. But there are ways to copy the theme over, even if you're using an official theme from Automatic. Let's see, I have another link here. I can provide to anyone that wants it, and it's also pretty easy to Google for. All of Automatic's themes are available on GitHub. Automatic's free themes. This is official. This is from the company that makes WordPress. I can make that link available. It's pretty easy. You can actually, well, what do you think? Where's my slides?
Anyway, can I interrupt you?
Absolutely.
Because
This is pretty
Joseph
much
is
the end of the
asking in
presentation.
YouTube, asking you what hosting you are using.
This one is called ByteHost, I think. I thought it was a typo because I thought it was going to be ByteHost, B-Y-T-E, but no, it's B-Y-E-T. And the reason I chose that is because I wanted to show something different. I didn't want to tell everyone just use this one host. We were using 000 web host. And I don't like the types of solutions where we just tell everyone use the same thing. Everyone use X, because there are a lot of options out there. Now, obviously, we've got some problems with this ByteHost, but it is completely free. I still like the 000 web host better. And if you do a web search for best free WordPress hosting, you'll get 1 million results. And I've been through about a dozen of them in the past couple of weeks, just trying to see. But right now, I still think 000 web host is the best kind of option that we have for free right now. For paid options, there's a whole lot of other criteria to consider. But right now, 000 web host is probably the best free option available. So I can, even with that problem that I saw, the reason I used that is because I wanted people to see that there was a problem, because actually it goes a lot more smoothly at 000 web host, which is weird, but that's the case.
So how do you spell the ByteHost?
The bike.
B-Y-E-T.
But the spelling is like.
Oh, it's even harder than that.
E-T.
Wait a minute. It's even harder than that because, let's see, is this the right? All right,
Byte.
there's my C panels, because they also own the name B-Y-E-T dot H-O-S-T.
Not host.
There they are. I don't recommend this host. I specifically used them because it had a problem that I wanted to demonstrate the problem. If I do the same, if I do the same import on 000 web host, I'm pretty sure the images will work fine. But you know, free. I found these by doing a web search. Best free WordPress hosting. And even on that list, 000 web host came up second in the list. People who haven't had the experiences I've had in the past couple of weeks, put WordPress.com first in the list. Now, in case you want to know, I had 3 WordPress.com sites automatically suspended for violations of the terms of service before I realized what bug in their automated system caused that suspension. If you import data into a WordPress.com site, then you will be suspended instantly. Now, it might have something to do with where that data was from, but that data was from WordPress. I got it from WordPress's own documentation, which says if you want to test your themes, you can use this data. So and it was automated, and it took 2 days for only the first of the 3 to be released again. So I wouldn't recommend using WordPress.com for anything other than playing around. So if that, let's make sure I went through the slides, and let's get to the last slide. There's ByteHost. Boy, there's a Russian word "niet," which means no. I don't know where these people are from. No, I mean, their service is actually not bad. It's just that weird thing with the images. And their cPanel is a little bit old-fashioned, I think. cPanel is just how you control your site. I think they give you some free email addresses and stuff. Okay, I think I pressed my. All right, I already kind of said this. All right, the procedure that we've covered here today works great for a relatively small site with basic customizations, but not everyone has this. If you've been using WordPress for a while, if you've been blogging, maybe you've been on WordPress.com for a while, and you want to start to run ads. Because WordPress.com definitely doesn't let you do that for free, and even at the higher tiers, they only let you run ads if you run them through their own monetization system. They call them press words or something like that. I'm not sure what they call it, but it's through their system. You can't just stick a Google AdSense code onto your WordPress.com site, even at the higher tier. So that's one very powerful reason to switch from WordPress.com. You want to run ads on your own site, start making money directly. If your site has been running for a while, it's going to have a lot of data, and it's going to exceed that limitation. And I know why that limitation is there. I know there's a configuration option, but basically there's just a limit of uploading the file through your computer, through your web browser, and having it processed automatically. I guess I can stand up. I don't need to work the computer. You can, it's harder to think like this. You need to transfer that file directly to your server at the new host and process it in the back end. I used to do this a lot years ago before WordPress had an easy way of importing data, but it's been a while, but I know exactly how to do it. Somebody recently asked me how to do it, and I responded to him a little too late, and he ended up paying somebody on Fiverr to do it. He's somebody, the Algiers guy. I didn't respond to him in time, so he got me to do it. So I want to know, not just from the people in this room, but also from anyone who might be watching, if there's any interest in seeing the really complex SFTP command line, how do I import my WordPress data and move my WordPress site to a new place? I say really complex, it's a matter of perspective. For some of us in the room, we all started out on that command line, and we're much more at home. I see somebody smiling right now. We're much more at home on that command line where you have to execute all those commands to move your WordPress site and data on the back end. And here we are again. I have a QR code for anyone who already has a QR scanning app. That bit.ly link below the QR code goes to exactly the same place. This, I've been told that my links are too small. I hope this will make it better. Can you see it? All right. On the left is how you can reach me. On the right is the slides. There were some links in the slides. We are also found on Facebook. We have a Slack chat. We have a WhatsApp group. A little bit harder to get into the WhatsApp group. They don't make it easy to share links to the groups, but I will get that information. And then finally, we have a big event coming up next month, at the beginning of next month, March 9th. Only 20 ringgit for international speakers. And actually, maybe I ought to... I'll put that on the screen as well. Yeah. This guy might be Malaysian, probably is. We've got several speakers coming from several parts of the world, including a few locals. I am a local. I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And this guy's from England. This guy's from Poland. Or Indonesia, depending on. He's from Indonesia the same way I'm from Malaysia.
You're from Sabah.
Yeah. And it's 20 ringgit. Costs more than that to go to KFC. Sometimes costs more than that to go to Starbucks. And this is coming up on March 9th at Grand Borneo. Grand Borneo Hotel in One Borneo. And the website here (2019.kotakinabalu.wordcamp.org). I've typed that so many times, all I got to do is type the number 2 into my address bar and the whole rest shows up already. But everyone here knows Kota Kinabalu. And definitely, if you're interested in learning more about WordPress, that's the place to go. And that's my presentation, my first presentation in a very long time. I hope I did okay. I hope to do better next time. At least have a better camera than this very, very old laptop webcam.
I think it's okay.
I think it's actually okay. It's better than I expected.
Yeah. Only the angle of this camera. Because most of the time you are not in the second.
Well, for the second one, I wasn't there at all. But nobody wants to see this.
You are live now, right? You are showing the tummy.
Yeah, I'm still live. Yeah, my wife and daughter might be watching actually. But when I asked if my daughter wanted to say, I told you already. When I asked my daughter if she wanted to watch me on YouTube later while I was giving this presentation, she said, "But Daddy, when you're not here, can I still play Roblox?" So that's that's how much interest there is in watching me give a presentation. But I think I'll give it just a couple more minutes in case anyone wants to post another comment on YouTube. And then I'm going to close the live stream. And I'll answer any questions on Facebook, on any of those places that you saw my information. And really, all you got to do is Google me. I use my real name everywhere. I post almost nothing that isn't related to coding. I'm a pretty boring guy. Every once in a while you see, I don't know, fitness videos or anime references, but most of the time it's just coding. And thank you everyone who showed up in person, everyone who goes to look at the YouTube. Thanks. Yeah! Thank you, Timmy. I'm trying to, this looks really weird. But that's where the chat is.
You're gonna want to think about having a casting server next time.
Well, you know, I was gonna do this with my phone. I should show you the.
Are we going to stop the live?
Crazy time.
I don't like. What, crazy time is the best? What are you talking about? Ending the live stream now.
You know why people are correct? Because it's live.